Pre-season testing, as always, takes us back to Bahrain. Hello everyone, and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back ready for Season 5 of the F1 2021 My Team career mode. Plenty of change up from Season 3 into Season 4. A big stagnation of the rules though between Season 4 and Season 5 just sees the durability departments getting changed, and for the first time ever in Formula 1 history, not a single driver transfer between Season 4 and Season 5. We have, however, got a new custom calendar nonetheless, and there might be a small shake-up of the order here. But after one of the worst seasons in their modern history, Red Bull, of course, finished Season 3 down in 5th place. They came back swinging, ready in Season 4. Obviously dominated the season. Max Verstappen, very, very strong and consistent throughout the entirety of the campaign there. And even Sergio Perez towards the end of the year taking 2 wins meant that Red Bull wrapped up the Constructors' Championship with a couple of races to go. Their first since 2013. It has been a very, very long time since we saw Red Bull at the top of the Formula 1 world there. But they were back. And back in fighting form there. Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez have certainly become stable teammates in the Red Bull camp, and 2 drivers that Red Bull are very, very happy to see continuing in their cars here. What they'll be able to do this year, we'll have to wait and see. Like we said, they won the last 3 Grand Prix in a row there. 2 courtesy of Sergio Perez, of course, winning his home race and the Mexican GP, and then Max Verstappen finishing off the year as he would have wanted with a race victory in Brazil, of course, after a very, very dominant and consistent campaign. Red Bull, of course, come into this year with, on paper, still theoretically the fastest car, but not much separates them, 212 Motorsport and Mercedes here as we head into Season 5. Whether they'll be able to stay on top is anybody's guess as the campaign comes on. I think a lot of it this year is going to come down to reliability there. Mercedes, though, for the 2nd season in a row, finished 2nd best there, of course. Last season they finished behind McLaren. Season 4 they finished behind Red Bull, of course. And yeah, it was a very, very up and down season there. Yuki Tsunoda, of course, their young Japanese driver who hasn't had the best run during Season 2 and Season 3, really came back strong for the 4th season there with the Brackley-based organisation, and he actually finished out runner-up in the Drivers' World Championship. Took a couple of wins over the course of the year, and yeah, was confidently quicker than Lewis Hamilton throughout a lot of the season as well there. So whether we're going to see Hamilton retire from Formula 1 in the very near future remains to be seen. But yeah, Yuki Tsunoda, certainly the lead man by the end of last year there. Hamilton, I'm sure, 10 Formula 1 World Championships. As much as he'd like another, he's achieved everything he possibly could and so much more in Formula 1 as well there. But Mercedes, they need to try and get back on top this year. Looks like Honda just have an edge at the moment, though, in both reliability and performance. So whether Mercedes will be able to be, sort of getting the car dialed in once more is going to be the real question over the course of Season 5. 2 years now without a Constructors' Championship, of course, 1 season without a driver's title as well. That Hamilton, unfortunately, going from, 7 titles in a row to suddenly finishing P5 behind his teammate at the end of last season was something that was very, very unexpected, based throughout the entirety of Formula 1 and the pundits as well there. But yeah, Mercedes, though, you can never exactly count them out, finishing no lower than 2nd place in the Constructors' Championship since 2013. They are certainly still a consistent force fighting right towards the front of Formula 1 nonetheless there. One of the bigger surprises, though, come the end of Season 4 was 212 Motorsport there, still consistently now with a car that can fight at the very front. Whether we've got enough to match Red Bull and Mercedes week in, week out is a slightly different question there. But Lando Norris with the team once again for the 2nd campaign with him, of course. Did the half season last year, really got dialed in with the car, and is feeling quick and confident there. A new paint scheme as well. Back to the orange and black, though, for 212 Motorsport. Actually, I think my favourite paint scheme we've run so far on F1 2021 there. You can see on a few shots, the orange on the back of the engine cover there is certainly very, very cool as well. You can just see that little aesthetic there. But yeah, Lando Norris and Matt Beard, of course, want to try and come into this season. This could be make or break for 212 Motorsport. If ever they thought they'd have a chance at a World Championship, this year was going to have to be that. Completely maxed out engine, chassis and aero for the team, so it is just a case of whether they can match the Red Bull team. Very much still seen as the factory Honda lineup in Formula 1, but both AlphaTauri and 212 Motorsport are still getting a lot of feedback and support from Honda as well there. But yeah, really going to be interesting to see what Lando Norris can do with a full campaign in the car. Pre-season testing was actually looking very, very good for 2-2 Motorsport. Their fastest at the end of a couple of days meant, yeah, they are certainly coming into the year with a lot of confidence and momentum behind them. But yeah, Red Bull finished out last season so strongly, it's difficult to bet against them early on, ready for Season 5 there. But yeah, very, very intrigued to see, like I said, make or break now for 2-2 Motorsport, but only time will tell as we get into the year whether they're going to be able to try and fight right at the very front, or whether they're just going to lack that little bit left that Mercedes and Red Bull seem to have over the course of last season there. Made good progress, though, towards the end of the campaign, nonetheless. On to team number 4, though. Arguably the biggest disappointment coming out of Season 4 there. Of course, wrapped up the Constructors' Championship in Season 3. Both Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo were really strong in the latter stages of the campaign there. Really gave Lewis Hamilton a fantastic run for his money there. But Season 4, of course, Lando Norris leaving the team, not happy with McLaren at the end of Season 3 there. Season 4 was very much a testing year. Of course, Daniel Ricciardo, the stable Australian there with the organisation. Callum Ilott, absolutely explosive at the start of last year, you know, really seemed to give McLaren that bit of firepower that they needed as well there. But he got traded out to Williams for Valtteri Bottas later on in the campaign there, and really Bottas and Daniel Ricciardo just never quite could deliver what they expected from the car there. Of course, the likes of Ferrari and 2-2 Motorsport got so much faster as the season went on. It was, yeah, really a disappointing end. It kind of just fizzled out for McLaren in a similar way to how their 2021 campaign went, of course, there. But again, you can never count them out. Looks like they made good progress over the winter, and they are still going to be fighting right towards the very front there. We could really see a 5-way scrap at the top of Formula 1 this year, but only time will tell as to what McLaren can do. It's going to be critical for them that they continue developing their car over the course of the year. You know, they sort of left Season 3 high with confidence, and then really just made steps backwards there. As you know, Red Bull and Mercedes both came out clearly in front by the start of Season 4 there. Season 5, though, like we said, no major shuffle, though, so it's better a time and wait and see whether McLaren have got the pace to fight right back at the front, where, you know, we want to see them in Formula 1 there. But Ferrari, though, again, another team, you know, had a very sort of resurgence year last season, but were never really fighting where they should be right until the dying stages there. Ferrari could be formidable this year. Of course, they went into Season 4 as like the 8th fastest car, very quickly got it back up to point scoring potential, and then later on in the campaign there, you know, they were really quicker than Mercedes and right up there with 2-2 Motorsport on raw performance again. Obviously, another factory team, like we're seeing from a lot of the teams around us. You know, we are really going up against the Goliaths of Formula 1 at the moment there. But Ferrari, if they maintain the same sort of momentum they had towards the end of last year, if they're consistent, they are certainly going to be a team to fight right at the pinnacle this year. Could we finally see Ferrari out on top? We've had 3 different Constructors' Champions in the last 3 years. Whether it's going to be 4 this year, whether it could be 2-2 Motorsport or Ferrari is still anyone's guess at the moment there. But Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc both doing really well. You know, Carlos had a bit of a rough last season, but he's certainly still lost none of his pace and potential as well there. And yeah, whether he's going to be able to fight right at the very front is only a matter of time again there. Both of them showed really strong pace throughout a lot of the campaign, but it's whether a lot of the tracks suit their car, and of course whether they continue this sort of forward momentum that we've seen from them. You know, Ferrari are very much a momentum swinging team in the My Team universe as well. They're 1 year they, you know, sort of massively mount a championship challenge as the year goes on, get better and better and get right towards the front, and then next season they're nowhere again, seemingly forgetting about developments, a bit like we've seen from the real life Ferrari team of years gone by as well. Up though next is team number 6, Alpha Tauri, consistently number 6 in this series. No, they've always sort of been there or thereabouts. Pierre Gasly coming in clutch so many times for them, but Guan Yu Zhou has been okay, but certainly has been nothing, you know, hasn't been able to hold a candle up to Pierre Gasly as this championship has gone on there. Whether AlphaTauri will be able to fight up the front this year is anyone's guess so far, but you know, I'm sure Pierre Gasly will see him mixing up with the front guys week in, week out, like he's always done. You know, one of the best drivers, I'd argue, on the F1 2021 My Team career mode. And, you know, if we keep seeing that from Pierre, maybe he could be with 2-2 Motorsport ready for Season 6. Only time will tell when it comes to that. Of course, yeah, finishing P6 in the last couple of seasons in a row. Again, completely thanks to Pierre Gasly, always maximising his car and the potential, has got there. Finishing out ahead of Aston Martin and Williams last year was rather crucial for them, but again, the mighty budgets of Ferrari and McLaren did push them down a little bit further. When you look at how quick Gasly was early on in the campaign, they could have been with Ferrari and McLaren had a few more things gone their way and had Guan Yu Zhou been able to sort of pull his finger out and carry his weight within the team as well there. But again, they're a team that's trying to, sort of foster young talent. Maybe we could see Gasly going back to Red Bull down the line. I think, if he doesn't go there, we are certainly going to be trying to eye him up, ready for Season 6 as well, like I said. But AlphaTauri, forever strong, forever consistently good in the midfield. It'll just matter of time to see whether they can try and fight right towards the front of the support there. Next up, team number 7, then Aston Martin, of course. Again, another team that's just sort of really lacked any sort of firepower in recent years. The win back in Season 1 and then a few more podiums in Season 2 have very much been, days of the past now for Alfa Romeo there. Aston Martin even. Lance Stroll, of course, with the team since the very beginning. George Russell joining him in Season 2. They've actually been very, very even as teammates in this series. But, even at the start of last year, they were sort of hanging on to the cusp of points. And then, really, as Ferrari got their act together, it did kind of force a lot of teams further back down the roster there. They were able to outscore Williams come the end of the year. They weren't the worst Mercedes-powered car come the end of Season 4, which I think was good for them, exactly what they needed. But Williams, still sort of, it makes you wonder whether Williams are going to be able to outscore them consistently in the future, of course. It was very much a battle between Aston Martin and Alpine late on in the campaign, sort of that battle between sort of P12 and P16 there. The bottom 3 teams really did fall away, which I'm sure we'll get into in just a moment. But yeah, Aston Martin desperately need a rule change that can try and bring them towards the front of the sport there. Give George Russell the car he ultimately deserves in the F1 world as well there. But I think for them at the moment, it's just a case of trying to consolidate and make it through another year. They're not expecting any sort of fireworks from Aston Martin unless they've really got a trick up their sleeve that they've definitely been hiding in pre-season testing as well there. But yeah, Lance Stroll and George Russell, 2 consistent drivers who tend to get a lot out of the car, but there's never really sort of many fireworks, never any mega results down at Aston Martin. But not every team can do that week in, week out then. Moving on, though, to team number 8, and what a disappointing year it was from Williams. We hyped them so much in Season 4. They came into the year with the 4th, 5th fastest car, looking at it on paper, and then basically no upgrades throughout the entirety of Season 4. Whether they caught wind of the rule changes ready for Season 5 early on and then just did nothing with them, I'm still not even sure to this day. But yeah, it certainly was a disappointing year from Williams, and we really want to see them battling up towards the points there. Like I said, they completely fell back towards Alfa Romeo and Haas as the campaign went on. They were lucky they scored their big points at the start of the year to outscore another team that we'll mention in just a moment there. And yeah, P8 wasn't the worst result in the world for them, but you certainly felt they could have had P7. They definitely should have been with Aston Martin, had they actually been able to get any sort of development upgrades on their car as the year went by. But that's, again, the way the Williams goes sometimes. Sometimes they come into a year nailing the regulations, they're right up towards the front, and then they just slowly fall back down the order. They just don't seem to have a good development system that means they can try and upgrade their car as well as, a lot of the teams around them. I think, we were always going to be optimistic to sort of see them fighting up against Ferrari once more, but we got to see Williams trying to fight back for points this year, because if pre-season testing's anything to go by, it looks like Williams, Haas and Alfa Romeo are going to be complete placeholders for the Q1, Q1 out every single week. They're a second off the pace towards the end of last year, and it doesn't seem like any of those teams have really made much forward progress as we head into Season 5. So not a lot of optimism down at Williams at the moment, but fingers crossed, if they can nail Season 6 regulations, I want to see them fighting back towards the front in this series there. Another really disappointing team, of course, has been Alpine, of course. After losing Fernando Alonso at the end of Season 1, brought in Nikita Mazepin hoping for some Russian money, and it just hasn't worked for them. P9 last year. Remember, they were meant to be a factory team in Formula 1. The only team still using Renault power, and honestly, looking at any other team, can you blame them for not using Renault power? It's just so lackluster from Alpine week in, week out. You know, they're never really battling for the points. They've had a couple of decent qualifying sessions, but they were very much, you know, just the team that might be able to hang on to Aston Martin, but was always sort of finishing 14th and 15th at the end of races there, you know, ahead of the Williams, Alfas, and the Haas cars there. And yeah, very much just picking up the pieces. 2 points at the end of last year, both courtesy of Nikita Mazepin, was never what Alpine should be expecting in Formula 1, and we'll have to wait and see as to whether they can deliver down the line. But again, so little rule changes mean that so many teams towards the rear of the field looking like they're not going to make any forward momentum in towards Season 5. It's a tough old time for Alpine. They need a major reshuffle if they want to be trying to fight back up towards the front. But yeah, a factory team finishing P9 is absolutely not what you should be seeing in Formula 1. But anyway, moving on though to Alfa Romeo then, our 10th team in the sport. Of course, finished ahead of Haas this year, which I guess was exactly what they needed to do once more there. Yeah, finishing behind Haas was not a good look for Alfa Romeo. But it seems as Ferrari have made so much progress over the last couple of years, both Alfa Romeo and Haas just haven't been able to do the same sort of thing there. You know, Alfa Romeo still with a okay lineup, I suppose, of Antonio Giovinazzi and Christian Lundgaard. Again, it's just sort of them and Haas that just inspire absolutely nothing from the sport at the moment. There are very few upgrades over the course of last year. Seemed by the end of the season, you know, they both sort of caught up to Williams, but Williams just sort of fell backwards into Alfa Romeo and Haas as the campaign went on. No points again for Alfa Romeo. I think that's the second season in a row there. Of course, yeah, every team scored points all the way back in Season 2. Mainly courtesy of a carnage Mexican Grand Prix there. But yeah, Giovinazzi and Lundgaard, I think Alfa Romeo desperately need a restructure and a reshuffle down the line if they, you know, sort of want to move back up the order. Like I said, Ferrari power doesn't seem to be helping Haas or Alfa out much. And I mean, they've got a very good power unit now. Very good reliability as well. Very good performance from the Ferrari car. But yeah, just Alfa and Haas both not really developing their car in any sort of successful way in Formula 1 at the moment there. But again, we might see a good battle, you know, battling out for P9, maybe P8 if Alpine still aren't going to be there either. You know, maybe we could see one of them trying to sneak that away if they get a lucky result or a good race on count back there, but only time will tell. And again, our perennial last place holders, you know, finished ahead of Alfa Romeo last year on count back, but it was never going to be the same once again. You know, Alfa Romeo and Haas so far off the pace there. Haas genuinely now struggling for the 107% rule at this stage of the campaign. It is just a dire, dire situation down for the American-based squad. They're sticking with Mick Schumacher and Robert Schwartzman, who I think, to be honest, aren't always dragging everything out of their car, but are certainly not a bad lineup either, of course, looking back to the Prema Power Team lineup of a couple of years ago there. But we just want to see every team fighting towards the midfield, and again, it seems like our bottom 3, bottom 4 teams are going to be nowhere near that if pre-season testing is anything to go by. You know, we always want to see cars fighting towards the front. We want to see every team able to score points, but I'm just not optimistic of that at the moment. Again, a bit like Alfa, a bit like Alpine and Williams, I think this year it's just going to be down to count back who can sort of egg that good result at some point during the year, you know, sort of be at the right place at the right time. If we get a few retirements, if we get a crazy race, you know, a late race safety car, which one of those teams could, you know, squeak a point away, or at least sort of squeak away, you know, 11th or a 12th place finish come the end of the year there. But only time will tell, but not optimistic again if you're in the Haas camp here of my team Season 5. Having a look then at our new race calendar for Season 5, then the only sort of major excitement we've got as we head into the new campaign. New tracks coming to Formula 1 there, of course. Like always, we kickstart the year in Bahrain. We actually head back to Shanghai, the first time China has hosted a Formula 1 Grand Prix since 2019. Then, of course, we head back to Imola and Portimao. They're two iconic races that we had a really good fun at last year. Then Monaco and Azerbaijan make up round 5 and round 6 of the year. Then we head to France, Austria and Britain there. And then, of course, the Belgian Grand Prix after the summer break there. Italy, Singapore, and then a very, very similar towards the end of last season there with USA, Mexico and Brazil before a potential championship decider in Saudi Arabia to round out the campaign. They're very much looking forward to that. 4 of the tracks, of course, that don't feature sort of in the normal F1 2021 campaign make up a quarter of the calendar now, ready for Season 5. Again, another 16 race season. Maybe if Season 6 is our last, we'll go through and do a full 23 race bumper, but we'll have to wait and see about that down the line. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Like I said, I'm a little bit gutted we haven't got any driver transfer news heading into Season 5. It has taken out a little bit of the unpredictability as we head into the new year. But, you know, we've got Ferrari, we've got Red Bull, we've got Mercedes, we've got ourselves all fighting right up towards the front. You know, maybe McLaren can be there as well. And then, of course, yeah, the absolute battle of the Wooden Spoon Awards there from the bottom teams as well. There's certainly going to be a lot to watch out for, though, nonetheless. But thank you all so much for watching this video, nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, do make sure to leave a like and get yourself subscribed. And we will be back very, very soon with the opening round of the year. It'll either be Saturday or in the new year. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys then. As always, a massive thank you to all of our channel members for helping continue supporting the channel and making all of these videos possible. You can join them by just clicking the join button down below. So a massive thank you to The Travesty, Patrick, Chuan, David, Ben, Aiden, Estasios, Cato, Sean, McBlam, Mighty Spork, William, Nanon, Ryan, and Pro Dark Shin for becoming members of the channel.